By the way, let's just say you want America to win this war and you want to, it does not serve our interests. That's precisely why what me and my brother are doing is pro-American, to provide the idea or sell the ideology that this war is not good for us. Whether we're right or we're wrong, by the way, we're right, but whether we're right or we're wrong, let's just say we're wrong, we are still serving American interests by pleading that the United States should not be militarily involved in the Middle East. And we're giving you every reason, supplemented in great detail, all the intricacies in between, to tell you this is a horrible idea. So whether you agree or disagree, whether you think these Gulf countries will disenfranchise and misalign with us, whether you think there will be a negative backlash or not, this does not help us now. This won't help us later. We're giving you the reason as to why. Whether you find it to be factual or line up with your own bias or your own facts, doesn't matter. This is pro-American content. That's pretty remarkable. And I don't know if anyone's really caught on to this. I mean, I think it's kind of a subconscious observation, but it's important to verbalize this. It seems as if though Iran and the IRGC are one step ahead of the United States in every regard. But let me explain this and let me give it some context so it makes sense, because everybody's going to combat me on that and say, what are you talking about? We've destroyed their infrastructure. We've killed their leaders. Of course we have. But look back into early January. When these protests started, and whether it was CIA, Mossad, Kurds, whatever it is, there were controlled and calculated attacks that were very precise with armed weapons within these protests to uplift or further escalate these civil uprisings and civil strife. What did the IRGC do? They shut it down immediately. They shut down the internet. They killed these people. They took them out. They caused this civil strife to end very quickly. They diffused it within a few days, although the United States and its propaganda tried to push it as if it was going on for several weeks and months and 30,000 people died. The IRGC quickly came in, eliminated the threat that would cause more tension within the civil population, and then kept moving. It seemed as if though they had the drop on that. So they've been studying
30,000, bro, if they killed 30,000, don't you think the uprising would have been easy if that was true?
Exactly. And so there's so many ways to falsify that, but I think just using your head at that point is more than enough. And so we look again, the IRGC is not only prepared for these protests and shutting down these controlled CIA assets or Mossad assets, whatever it is, or these Kurdish forces that are backed by Israel and the United States. And so they do that successfully. Then we move forward. We go ahead and we take out all of their military infrastructure, their military leadership. We bomb their capital. We kill their people. We take out these very crucial sites that operate a lot of military intelligence or whatever it may be. That's what Pete Hegseth and Donald Trump are saying. I don't want to get into the nitty gritty. Let's just grant the fact that that's actually true, and that's actually apparent in the Middle East right now. Despite that, Donald Trump was still surprised that Iran retaliated in attacking the Gulf countries. Again, it seems like Iran had an idea that the United States and Israel was not ready for. This is evident, and this is because of the fact that they've watched regime change happen around the region and their neighboring countries for years. So they had the playbook ready, and they knew each and every American/Israeli step that was coming in order to decapitate their leadership. So they respond to these Gulf countries and hit them. What does that do? That causes a ripple effect across the region that hurts oil prices around the world, but that also forces the United States to stretch their resources thin. And so they have to defend all these countries militarily and unite them, but now they're all upset because they're prioritizing Israel over everybody else because Iran is primarily targeting Israel. What's the point I'm making? Iran uses the United States strategy and blueprint against them, and it hurts us in the long run. So now we've attacked all these countries, or Iran rather have attacked all these countries in the Middle East, hit all these Gulf countries, hit Israel. Now the United States is surprised, as Trump releases in a statement just a few days ago. But on top of that, our resources are stretched thin. So now the whole region is upset. The whole region is mad that Israel and the United States prompted this war and started it. And Iran has got everybody fighting each other and pretty much civil tension amongst these neighboring countries. Again, we see the same thing. The United States and Israel have been coagulating with the Kurdish forces on the border kind of in Iraq and northern Iran. And they always have used Kurds to prop them up against any sort of anti-American opposition, anti-American leadership. And so Iran was ready for this. What did we see today and yesterday? Iranian IRGC missiles had hit these Kurdish forces, these Kurdish bases and their infrastructure with drones because they're a step ahead of them. They already know where it's going. So they stopped the protest. They're still hitting vital and critical infrastructure in the Gulf countries and Israel. And on top of that, they're already ready for the Kurds. We have not even gotten to boots on ground yet. And I can guarantee you, when we get to boots on ground, what's their advantage going to be aside from the fact that they know who's coming to oppose them? Their mountainous terrain, their deserts, their snowy mountains. all of this difficult terrain to navigate amongst that U.S. troops have struggled with in the last few decades in Afghanistan and even Iraq. So across the board, yeah, you can say we're militarily overpowering them, but they're still outsmarting us on the chessboard and making every single advancement that much more painful. This is what a war of attrition is. You want to attack us? Go for it. But you're going to expend so many resources, you're going to expend so much energy and so much money, your civilization, your population is going to make you feel it. And what did Arakshi say in a statement just a few days ago? The United States people really needs to hold their government accountable because they are controlled by Israel. So not only is Iran double-stepping us and 2 steps ahead of us in terms of our military action, but they're also pitting the people against the government by acknowledging this is not the United States is doing, this is Israel's doing, which again is further weaponization of propaganda and political weaponization. So all in all, it seems as if though Iran is always a couple steps ahead and they're kind of outsmarting us. And so we can overpower it because, again, we cap all the other countries combined in military spending and we have the firepower to withstand that, but it comes at a cost. So at what point, when is it worth it? Well, it never is worth it. The whole point is it's for Israel to have autonomy in the region. So that's another thing that people need to understand as well. It seems like Iran is kind of ready for these attacks, for these coups, for these military oppositions that are funded by the United States, like the Kurds, and they're notorious for that. They've done that several times in the region, in Iraq and in Syria. So that's nothing new. But there's kind of nothing we can do to surprise them. You're going to hit them with bombs. They're ready for that. They have underground bunkers. They have tunnels. They have underground cities where they develop these missile carriers and they're effective. They work and they can do it fast. They do it in-house. It's very cheap. Every single time we have some sort of really strong American tactic, coffee and nails, and then we're the best country in the world and we're strong, and it does make a difference. They're ready for that. They've seen it happen in the region countless times over the last few years. So that's a whole nother aspect that I'm sure this guy just gladly glosses over. And look, if the United States is to enter a war with a country, it needs to be quick. It needs to be seamless. We don't need to expend military resources. Why? We spend so much money not only on our military capabilities and our firepower, but our intelligence. Somewhere where this actually went right, a good example of that is in Venezuela. It happened in 2 days, or happened in overnight, really. We completely just subverted their forces, used some weird discombobulated weapon that Trump had referred to, and kidnap Maduro. But that's just not going to happen in Iran. And I think Trump had gotten the idea. Maybe he got on his high horse and thought this can be quick and seamless. But what happened to quick and seamless? 4 days, that was announced on Saturday, had now translated to what Pete Hegseth said today, to 8 weeks and potentially boots on ground. That's a war of attrition for you.
Also, yeah, no, that's a war of attrition. And the other thing too, great points, is that, bro, I don't know if we'll be able to go back to the Gulf states after this.
Yeah.
Like they destroyed the bases. The thing that's crazy, right, is that the U.S. bases were there to protect the Gulf states, but the U.S. bases being there is why the Gulf states are being attacked, and we're not protecting them. Like, bruh, like, what the?
Yep.
What the? Like, if you're like a Saudi prince or UAE, you're like, wait, hold on, let me get this straight. I'm getting attacked because I have these U.S. bases here, but these U.S. bases were supposed to be here to protect me from getting attacked. What the going on here?
Yep.
So that right there, guys, is a W for Iran. Do you guys get that? They're basically hurting America's ability to project force in the region. What do Pete Hegseth and Kane, what did they always say? We are the #1 military in the world because we could project force on so many different fronts. We have aircraft carriers everywhere. Well, guess what? Now, these Gulf states are like, I might go to the Chinese. I don't got to worry about a war with them, you know? So that puts even more pressure now that the United States needs to put regime change on Iran. Because let me tell you all this, if the United States doesn't do a regime change on Iran, the Gulf states ain't going to let these niggas stay in no Gulf no more.
Yep, absolutely.
It ain't worth it. It ain't worth it. Why am I over here? Yo, the UAE, for example, the UAE, I don't know if you guys know this, they fronted a lot of money for that base.
Yeah.
Qatar. Ryad. Qatar.
Which is the largest American base in the Middle East, by the way.
Exactly. They fronted a lot of the money for that base, bro.
Yeah. Like,
how would you feel if you fronted the money, you did a deal with the United States, you invested trillions in their economy, right? You're doing oil deals in U.S. dollars like Saudi Arabia, right? Propping up their currency with the petrodollar, right? And now the bases that were there to protect you are the reasons you're getting hit, and the U.S. isn't even holding up to their end of the bargain. And then to make it even worse, I was telling them earlier, they're defending Israel over you. Nigga, that's embarrassing. That puts Osama bin Laden right, bro. That's crazy. Osama bin Laden got kicked out of Saudi Arabia for literally saying this. He was saying, why do you got Calvinists protecting you? Why you got infidels protecting you? This is bullshit. When they kicked him out in the 1990s, Ryad, I don't know if you know this, he wanted to fight the Saddam Hussein.
Why? And they didn't let him, and that's what charged him up.
That's what charged him up. Because he was like, "How dare you? You're gonna kick me out? I just beat the Soviets. I just beat the Mujahideen."
And
like
another reason why he was so upset is because the United States was just giving him a ton of money and a ton of weapons over in Afghanistan to fight these Soviets on the border, and they just turned their back on him and started working with the Saudi government. So not only the Saudi government turned their back on their Muslim counterpart, but now Osama is upset because now he doesn't even get military funding from the United States, which had led a successful campaign in resisting the Soviets on that border. Another thing that's huge, the Middle East and these Gulf countries
got him kicked out, bro. Osama was right. Yo, he warned them. He said you cannot.
He's unfortunately vindicated here. He 100% is. He 100% is, because
niggas kicked him out, sent him to Sudan, bro, in the 90s for that.
Yeah, and he hid there for a while. And another thing that's really just remarkable here that I don't think a lot of people have realized, but this will probably become more evident and clear over time, is the fact that the Gulf countries prioritize people visiting their country, tourism. And so if your country is getting hammered by ballistic missiles, if your country is always at risk, and by the way, even if this war stops, even if there's a ceasefire, this is largely unattractive to the average American, average European, average Westerner. Man, I don't want to go to the Middle East. They seem like they have a conflict every other day, and it's gotten to the point now where Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Bahrain, all these beautiful countries have been subject of these missile strikes. And so not only is this hurting their tourism, which is some of these countries' main source of income, especially like Qatar and these others, this is going to not only further destabilize their economy, plus the fact that the Strait of Hormuz is compromised, which is where all their oil moves through, but this is going to give them another reason to weaponize these bases against the United States and seek to align with another country in that region that has more power, or has equal power to the United States rather. So their tourism is being affected heavily, and that also has a catastrophic effect over time as well. I don't want to go to the UAE right now. I don't want to go to Bahrain. Even some of my friends who are Muslims, they want to go do pilgrimage in Mecca and Medina. They're holding off. Sneeko is an example. Sneeko just avoided going to Mecca and Medina because of the fact that there's a regional war. I'm not sure if that's what he said, but that's kind of the implication that I received in him not going. And so how many other people are saying this? How many other clueless Westerners who are already terrified and reluctant to go to the Middle East, stepping over nails to do it because of all the propaganda they've been fed? Now this is the biggest confirmation for them, and the nail in the coffin. Yeah, I'm never going to the Middle East ever again. So as these Gulf countries finally westernize, and as they finally normalize their way of life, their culture, they pulled back the extremism, they normalized, they allowed alcohol in some aspects, they regarded stipulations, now they're getting bombed to so now they just started from square one. Now they have to do the whole, we love you Americans, we want you to come here again. So that's also another issue, and that's due to U.S. assets and U.S. military bases being present in these Gulf countries. That's going to push them away from us.
Yeah, bro. It's like, yo, there's like long-term effects here that are going to cascade and create a lot of problems. And like, don't listen to these dumbass like magatard niggas that are like just looking at the initial like, yeah, B-52 bombers, this is so awesome. Like, bro, you niggas are going to pay for that, bro. I'm trying to tell y'all, bro. And these dumbass magatards that are like sitting here like, cheering on the wars, they're not going to pay for it. They're getting a YouTube check from this bullshit. You're going to pay for it. Like, when your gas goes up $2, $3, a couple of you guys already said your diesel's up like 50 cents to $1. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And the conflict just started. So, anyway, let's get back to this thing here.
Go ahead.
Hold on.
Play the video. By the way, what do you think of the camera, real quick, while we're on full screen? Does it look all right?
It's good. It's good.
Good upgrade.
It's very
Shout
good.
out to TPC Films, man. We worked on this for like 2 hours yesterday, so he helped me out. He got the lighting set up. My good friend, shout out to him. He got me the sign in the back. He got that for me today, so that was a nice little addition. But hopefully, guys, everything is coming together. We're going to get some RGB lights in the back, so you'll have a nice little ambiance. But we're working, man. We're working. We're getting this set up nicely, so it's a little bit more enjoyable of a watching experience for you guys. Via the funding of Myron Gaines, must I say. So shout out to Myron.
It's expensive, man. Shit's expensive. Shout out to Dab and Dan says W Stream W Cook got you. And then also Dan B Dan again, W Stream W Cook. We got you guys, man. Yo, we're trying to educate you guys here. Some low IQ niggas might come in here and say this is anti-American or whatever. No, this is very American. This is what your government doesn't want to.
This is pro-American.
Yeah. Like, bruh, like we're trying to educate you guys on this shit because you're not gonna get this information. Like, I just see so many magatards, so many stupid motherfuckers that like don't understand like this is gonna have serious consequences for the world and it's gonna hit you later.
And you know by the way, I'm sorry, you just charged me up with an idea. By the way, even if let's just say you want America to win this war and you want to, it does not serve our interests. That's precisely why what me and my brother are doing is pro-American. Even if we finagle through some tunnel ways and step over facts to provide the idea or sell the ideology that this war is not good for us, whether we're right or we're wrong, by the way, we're right, but whether we're right or we're wrong, let's just say we're wrong, we are still serving American interests by pleading that the United States should not be militarily involved in the Middle East. And we're giving you every reason, supplemented in great detail, all the intricacies in between, to tell you this is a horrible idea. So whether you agree or disagree, whether you think these Gulf countries will disenfranchise and misalign with us, whether you think there will be a negative backlash or not, this does not help us now. This won't help us later. We're giving you the reason as to why. Whether you find it to be factual or line up with your own bias or your own facts, doesn't matter. This is pro-American content. This is the most pro-American it can get. I don't want to go to war for another country. I mean, I don't understand how anybody can combat that. And so that's why I said the three categories of people who oppose this war is an Iranian secularist, a Zionist, or a brain-dead boomer. All three of which I want nothing to do with because they're not even worth arguing from the beginning. So that's that.
Yeah, that's facts. That's facts. It literally the only three people that want this war are literally a dumbass boomer nigga, literally an Iranian retard, right? Like one of these diaspora guys, or Zionist. Like
an Iranian OnlyFans girl who hates Islam and doesn't want to wear a hijab or something like that, or some secular Iranian like Patrick Bet-David, like, hey, bro, look, I get it. Maybe the regime did something bad to somebody you knew, and so I'm sorry for that. But you got to understand this. This does not serve American interests. That's the point we're trying to make here. So, anyways, I digress. Go ahead. I'm gibbering.
No. But they need to hear this because real talk, you guys are not going to get. I'm gonna just say it. You guys are not going to get analysis like this that is this detailed, right? That gives you guys a deep insight into the Muslim mind, the Islamic mind. Obviously, my brother gives you guys that insight, while simultaneously having like the pro-America, super pro-America viewpoint that we have, and also, guys, tell you guys like the analysis of the Middle East all at the same time. You guys are not going to get this anywhere else, right? The high IQ, geopolitical analysis with the religious context, with the background, and then also we're giving you guys like how people in this region think. The way they think is completely going to change how they conduct warfare and how they view us, as well as the Zionist entity of Israel and foreign policy and everything else like that. And then also we're talking to you guys about how this is going to affect the Gulf, who we've had a relationship with for a very long time, who honestly, I don't think niggas are going to let us make bases. Like, I don't think they're going to let us stay there no more like that. Or it's going to be, diplomacy is going to be heavily strained, super strained. It's never going to be the same, especially if we do not do. Now we put ourselves in a box. We have to do a regime change now. We have to.
There's no turning back now. And diplomacy is definitely off the table after Ayatollah was killed. So now we've got to finish the job, and this job may take a long time to finish. And
it's going to be a very hard job. This isn't Iraq, bro. This isn't Iraq. The dude's thing, they could just have air power and just bomb the out of it, and that's it. One thing that they have that the Iraqis didn't: underground tunnels and lots of ballistic missiles.
Yeah,
that are very accurate.
And years of preparation and homework. That's another thing too. The Iraqis were blindsided. The Iranians were well prepared.
Yep, because the Iranians watched us destroy all their neighbors, bro, and they were studying. They looked. They saw what happened.
They hit the Belmar, bro. They studied.
They studied. And then here's the other part. The niggas still got the highly enriched uranium.
Yeah.
The thing that we're allegedly invading for, they still have.
Yeah.
Bruh. Stupid. Yo, oh my God. All right.